Hello, Calum. My name is Sparrowbird. Um, so I'm making this video for you because I want to reach out to you and tell you what an impact one of your songs had on me. I just recently went to the General Conference session in St. Louis, Missouri, where I got to meet your Aunt Sandra. But I had like a lot of fears along the way. Like every step of the way I had these fears. Like my first fear was even going to the bus station in downtown Nashville, because my mom just put this fear in me, like and I don't know why she's afraid of homeless people, but that's not actually a fear of mine, but for whatever in that moment I took that fear on. But so she's like, we drove by the bus station and she's like, see all these homeless people, and they're gonna rob you and do all these horrible things. And I'm like, so I was kind of scared to get out of the car. And then your song, Do It Afraid, kind of played through my mind. And I heard this little voice just kind of like, it was right here just whispering in my ear, do it afraid. So I would step out and do it afraid. And I got out of the car, got in the bus station, everything was fine. And then I started getting scared that I was going to get on the wrong bus, that I would end up in Los Angeles or something. And see, my hearing and my vision isn't what it used to be, so I don't really hear quite as well as I used to, and I don't see quite as well as I used to. And I went septic, which is where an infection just goes all over your body. I went septic several years ago, and that just kind of did something to my brain, so I don't navigate the world as well as I used to. And it gives me some anxiety when I'm stepping out into the unknown, places I don't know. So my first fear was just getting out of the car, and I heard, not audibly, but just like, it was like a little whisper, do it afraid. So I got out of the car and I went into the bus station, and then I'm like, I'm gonna miss the bus, I'm gonna get on the wrong bus, it's gonna be horrible, I'm gonna end up in Los Angeles, it's gonna be bad. So, and I kept hearing, do it afraid. So I walked in and I was afraid, but I did it. And my mom had told me, don't look at anybody, keep your head down, don't talk to anybody. And I just did the opposite of what she said. I started looking around, and I found this young man, probably about your age, sitting there by himself. And I went up and asked him, hey, can I sit with you? He was like, yeah. So we talked for a while. He was a musician, and we talked about where we were going and stuff like that. But this young man, he helped me to know when my bus got there. He would help me to know which one was my bus, and all this stuff about getting on the right bus, and he helped me to do that. And before I left, I asked him, well, what's your name anyway? And he's like, my name's Joshua. So I was like, okay, Joshua. So, but I wouldn't have took that step if I didn't hear your song, Do It Afraid, and so I took that step and I talked to this total stranger, which is unlike me, and I got on that bus, and then I started freaking out about the other end, because Mama was like, that's going to put you in St. Louis at 9 o'clock in the roughest area, and da 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 da. So I was like, I'm going to do it afraid. So I got on that bus, and on the way there, then this possibility of me having to take an Uber came up. And I'm like terrified of Ubers, because I've heard all these bad things about women getting hurt and hurt really bad by Uber drivers and stuff like that. So I'm like terrified of Ubers. I'm terrified on the other end of this bus getting off in St. Louis, where my mom said it's going to be really bad. And so all the time on this bus I'm hearing do it afraid. So anyway, so I get there and your aunt comes running up, laughing and running up and gets me in a hug, and I realize I'm okay. So we get on an Uber, Calum. My first time in an Uber. And even though I was with your aunt, I was kind of had some anxiety about it. And so I heard, do it afraid. So I got on, and I got on this Uber, and your aunt did all the talking to the Uber driver, and I was just kind of riding along hoping we'd get to the hotel that I was staying at okay. And we did. So the next day, your aunt sends me this text and is like, well, you won't be able to get a hold of us for an Uber. And I was like, yes, because I don't want to take an Uber. And then she's like, so the other option is this train. And I'm like, a train? Are you kidding me? A train? Now I gotta go on a train? So she says, yeah, the other option is a train. It's right out, which was right outside the hotel I was staying in. And so I'm like, okay. And I hear this voice, do it afraid. So I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm going to do it afraid. And so I stepped out to do it afraid. And I was able to find, with the help, I had to stop and ask along the way, like, where is this train station at? And so I get there, and then I'm like, the train conductor dude, I don't know what he was, but he was there. He worked for the little train station. And he could tell I had some anxiety. And I was like, well, what are they going to say when I get to my stop? And what will it say? Is it going to say the convenience center, or what will it say? And he's like, I don't know, but it's 4 stops. And then I'm like, well, where do I go when I get off the train? And he's like, I don't know. So this family behind me speaks up and is trying to give me directions. They're like, well, when you get off the train, turn left, go this way, blah, blah, blah. And I was so nervous, I couldn't really hold on and retain to what they're saying. And all the time, do it afraid, do it afraid, do it afraid. And then I hear the train conductor guy yell out, hey, these people are going where you're going. Well, it turns out they were Seventh-day Adventists, and they were going to the conference. And so I was like, well, can I tag along? Can I follow you? Because I have no idea where I'm going. So, because I was worried I'd get on the wrong train, or I'd get off at the wrong stop. And yeah, so, but I did it because I kept hearing, do it afraid. So I got on this train, and I got to the stop on the other end, and we got off, and I followed this lady, and then she pointed out, that's the convenience center up there, and we're going this way. And I was like, thank you. And so I went in, and your aunt found me, and I hooked up with your aunt, spent the day with your aunt. And then she's doing the sing-along, right? And I'm watching, because I know I'm having to go back to the hotel after this, and I'm either going to have to take that train, or I'm going to have to take an Uber. So I'm starting to be like, oh man, oh man, oh man. And so let me back up. Because on the sing-along, your aunt calls me to come up there and be on the sing-along. And I'm like, I don't want to do it, but like, I didn't want to let her down. I didn't want to let the Sabbath sing-along viewers down. And so I hear, do it afraid. So I go up there, and the first time I was on the camera, I didn't say much. Thankfully, your aunt has a way of handling situations like that, because she popped up and she did some talking, because I just couldn't think of what I wanted to say to the Sabbath sing-along viewers. But as the Sabbath sing-along was coming to an end, I was like, I'm going to have to either take this train, or I'm going to have to take an Uber back to the hotel. So I'm like in prayer and like, Lord, I don't want to do either one of those. And then I hear, do it afraid, do it afraid. So when I finally was like, okay, Lord, I'll do it afraid, then your aunt just stands up and is like, you're going to ride with Evans, and he's no longer a stranger, because, you know, he's the guy that played the keyboard some on the sing-along. I was like, okay, that's not a train and that's not an Uber, and I can do that. So so this lovely couple, that the guy was on the sing-along, Evans, and his wife took me back to the hotel. And then here, Calum, the next day I go home to the bus station, and I told your aunt, because I didn't want to take an Uber the next day, and I was like, well, I guess I'll walk. So I told your aunt that I'll walk to the bus station from the hotel, because it was like a little 9-minute walk. But then your aunt, for whatever reason, told me some guy got shot and killed outside the hotel. And then I'm like, okay, great. That's good to know. And so I get back to the hotel, and I'm like, Lord, I don't want to walk to that bus station in the morning, and I don't want to take an Uber, but I don't want to walk, and so I just hear, do it afraid, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I'll do it afraid. So I tried to get some sleep, and I tossed and I turned, and I tossed and I turned, and I finally got to sleep. Well, I woke up, and I had this text message from a lady that, well, I had two things. I had a friend request, Facebook friend request from her, and then I had a Facebook message saying that she wanted to meet me. I was like, okay, well, I'm actually heading to the bus station today. And she was like, well, I can take you. And, well, I'm like, well, I don't even know who this is. So I'm not getting in the car with you, right? So, but I noticed that we had I went and looked at her Facebook real quick before I answered her, and I noticed we had 2 mutual friends. And these 2 mutual friends were people that I knew, like, in person, face to face. I went to church with both of them. So I texted them really quick. I'm like, is this girl safe to get in a car with? Am I okay? And they come back, oh yeah, she's great, you'll love her, and she's safe. So I text this lady that messaged me out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, you can take me to the bus station, that would be great, and thank you. So she came to the hotel at 11 and got me and took me to the bus station. And then before she got there, while I'm packing my stuff up, which I didn't have much, but I'm packing my stuff up, and I'm like, Lord, what if I get on the wrong bus? And what if I get on the wrong bus? What if I miss my bus? What if this? What if that? And I kept hearing, do it afraid, do it afraid. So I was just, I kept packing my stuff up, and I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to do it afraid, and I'll be okay. So the girl comes and picks me up at the hotel, and then she takes me to the bus station, and I just kind of expected her to, you know, to just kind of swing up, let me out, and say, see ya. Well, she parked, and then she even paid for a little bit of short-term parking, and then she came in with me, and she helped me find the gate that my bus was supposed to be at, and excuse me, and then she sat with me for a little bit, and we talked, and yeah, and it was great. And then before she left, she was like, okay, this is, don't forget, gate A, that's your gate for the bus. And I was like, thank you so much. So great lady. So she leaves, and I'm sitting there just kind of pondering the trip, and then I'm thinking, I'm going to get back to the Nashville bus station at 9 o'clock at night, where it's not safe, at a time that it's not safe. And I hear, do it afraid. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it afraid. And so I get back to the bus station. The bus at St. Louis comes, and I get on it, and I'm like, this is the right bus, right? And they're like, yes, this is going to Nashville. So I get on it. We get back to Nashville after 7 hours, and we had stops here, and we had a stop there and a stop here, and then finally we're in Nashville at 9 o'clock at night. And I get off the bus, and I get my luggage, and I'm like, I'm not even going to walk in here afraid. God, you've done all this stuff for me, and every time I step out to do it afraid, you put somebody right there with me. So I just walked into the bus station, headed up, smile on my face, and then I had to walk out another door where my parents were outside the bus station, and then my parents were parked over there. So I get in the car, I put my luggage in there, and I get in the car with my dad, and he looks back at me, and Calum, he gets this gun, and he holds it up, and he said, "I had your back the whole time." I was like, "Really? You brought a gun?" And I'm like, this is where I get all my fears and anxieties from. I inherited it from you guys. And so, but yeah, so my dad brought a gun to the bus station to pick me up. And, but it was fine. Like, nobody messed with me. But I just wanted to thank you for your song, because every step of the way I heard, "Do It Afraid." And so I would step out to do it afraid, and God would put somebody right there to bring me comfort and to help me navigate and get on the right bus, get on the right train, and just everything. Every step of the way, every time I stepped out to do it afraid, God put somebody there to help me. So I just really wanted to reach out and tell you about that, and tell you what your song meant to me and how it helped me. And I don't know why you did that song and why you shared it on YouTube, but I just wanted to thank you for it. And I hope you continue to make music, because you're really good at it. And just so you know, the only way I know how to get this to you is by putting it on YouTube, and then sending your Aunt Sandra a link to it. But after you see it, if you want me to delete it off my YouTube, no problem, man. Just tell your aunt to tell me, and I'll delete it off. But thank you so much for your song, "Do It Afraid." It's one of my favorite songs, one of my go-to songs, and it really helped me on this trip. And God worked through your song to get me to step out in faith several times throughout this trip. So I just really wanted to reach out and let you know about it, and I hope and pray that you keep writing music and sharing it. All right, blessings. Bye.